person 72. So if I had to title your reading, it would be Remember. So I know what my purpose here in this lifetime is to help people remember who they are and remember their divinity. And so I think this would speak, your reading would speak kind of directly to that. So as you enter the Rainbow Road, your energy is a fairy. And so I know instantly we're going to be connecting with the fairy realms. So your energy is this fairy, and then I watch as this fairy like turns into a young girl and like puts on a backpack and a hat, like a baseball hat, and like hides her wings and hides her hair and her ears with like the backpack and the baseball cap. So I see this girl, and I get that it's like 7 years old, and I see this girl going to school and like not assimilating really well in with the other kids, like being almost reserved, kind of like loner in the very beginning would be a word that I would use to describe. Like I see this girl kind of navigating this energy of school and not feeling connected and kind of feeling like she's on the outskirts of what's expected. And then so as I'm watching this, I then see the energy of this girl grow older and older, and as she grows older, she connects more and more with girlfriends, and then becomes a teenager and is like in the mall and the food court, just like totally social butterfly, all this stuff. And then I see this girl then transition to the age of like late 20s, and I see her grow her ears into spikes again and long hair and fairy wings again. So I see her turn her back into a fairy. So what I glean from this is that as a young child, you were connected into the fairy realm. And so basically what this means, like, so how I receive who I connect to are angels mostly. So there's a lot of different frequencies and realms, and if you're a believer in the metaphysical, then we all have, if you can imagine our energy, like as a human, my specific energy, I have like an antenna, and my antenna picks up best the frequency of angels. So in your case, your antenna, your frequency would pick up best and receive the clearest, as if you're tuning into a radio. Your energy picks up the most clear, like the fairy realm, right? So like nature and connection to, I got this vision of like a butterfly flapping, and like as a butterfly flaps, like, and if there's like 10 people outside and a butterfly goes by, like I feel like that you would catch out of the corner of your eye the butterfly where everybody else wouldn't see the butterfly. So I get that you connect into this subtle frequency that's what would be quote unquote considered the fairy realm. And so basically it's just another form of guidance and connection that you would tune best to receive your direction. And so basically what I saw was this like young girl, and like very young. Now we're talking like just walking like 3 or 4, and you're outside, and I see like this wreath of flowers around your head, and like a little dress on, and you're just out in nature. And I get like these fairies almost are like almost like blowing wind at you, and as they do this, they're creating these. So I don't think you see, like as a young child, these fairies, or what would be their energetic signature. I get that like they're almost like blowing this, I don't know, whatever it is at you, and it, as a young girl, it's like painting these pictures in your head, and you're going on these like journeys in your head. So I get that you're getting this like really dreamlike state kind of created by the frequency or the energy that you're tapping into from this realm. And so and then as you go to school, and so not like kindergarten, not first grade, but like as you start to understand your place as a human in this world, which I got the age 7, you start having to disconnect from like this creative world that would be quote unquote considered like the fairy realm, and you have to start becoming like a human, right, with the conditions that humans have. Like that doesn't exist, that's just fairy tale, that's all this. And so it becomes really hard for you to kind of assimilate into what's expected of a girl at that age. And so I saw that it was like hard for you to make friends, and like it was almost this really hard like disconnect from like the left and the right brain, right? So like people were forcing you into the left brain, but you were still really into like the fantasy and the right brain, and really kind of in your head. And so it was almost hard for you to connect with other kids in that like left brain world, and or that analytical like three-dimensional world. And so and then as it progressed on, like you slowly let the right brain go, and you became very transfixed with like the human element, right, connection, and you became very social and all of this. So which is typical. They say almost everybody by the age 8 will let go of their connection or their remembrance to the divine, and then and become more left brain, more analytical thinkers, believing in what you see in the physical world. And then not till like 28 does it pick up again, where you then regain this connection to the divine, because they say the divine kind of lets us go from that age between 8 to 28 so that we can experience and live life and learn our lessons without the oversight of the guides and their kind of divine direction for us. So so what I saw then was so now it's time to kind of move through the portal and get the next glimpse of energy, right? And so I see now, this is where I'm getting specific with your energy. And so I see you go up to the door frame that kind of represents this portal and the next phase. And you like have a not a microscope, what is that? A magnifying glass. And you're like looking at every detail of this like 3 planked wood door jamb, right? And you're like looking at the frame and inspecting it, and you're not willing to go through it. You're super analytical over it. And then you almost take out this like box cutter and you cut the black. So it's always like people move through this black portal and we go into this next kind of symbolic journey. And so you like took out this box cutter and you cut away this black sheet that was veiling us from seeing what was through the door jamb. And then you took down this black sheet and you sat right in front of the door, still not moving through it, and you watched. And now we're looking through. It's almost like you're seeing like 100 different timelines of like cartoon animated type things happening through the portal, and you were studying it. You were sitting there and studying each timeline. So I'm getting this as a direct connection to who you are in this lifetime. I don't know if you're very analytical and very like cognizant of what's going on and very pre-calculated, but that's what I was getting, is that like you were analyzing every timeline and every strand and really just like took your time to decide what's gonna best suit this next move, right? So it was like a chess game. Like you were planning your steps out a few steps ahead, and so finally you allowed one of these timelines, and it came out to you like a rope. And so you allowed one of these timelines to move through the portal and actually connect with you. And then finally you're like, okay, we'll take this one after it has been very thought through. And you grab the rope, and then we start moving through the portal, and your energy, then I see it's all, you're in the clouds now, and you're holding on to a rope at your hand level, and then your feet are on a tight rope. So, and you've got these goggles on, and the wind's blowing directly to you. And it's not coming to me right now why, but I'm getting that this is very third eye chakra. So why was I getting that? So I'm not sure, but so I'm getting like we're in the third eye chakra, number one, because of the perspective. We're up in the clouds. Oh, so head in the clouds. So this is what I was getting, because for me, a direct connection to third eye chakra is your head's in the clouds, and when it's an imbalanced third eye chakra, it's like your head's in the clouds, but there's no base to ground you. So your feet were like skittish on this tightrope, and so you didn't have any foundation. And so that's when I get there's a disconnect in the third eye chakra. And so this pulls me and connects to everything kind of that I've seen through your energy so far. So being super analytical over like the timelines and what you're going to choose. I get that there's now this disconnect where you used to connect into the fairy realm and be very right brain and very like holographic thinking and all of this, and it's transitioned now because of us being humans, we're forced into this third dimensional world and to see only what, or believe only in what we see. And so now I get that there's this very analytical kind of thought process that takes place for you to believe in maybe anything, or trust in what you're seeing. And so I get that there's a constriction within the third eye chakra, and that and this is what I had to deal with too. So your mental body, I get that your mental body is very constricted. I'm like squeezing my hand right now, so I feel like there's this like tight grip, and this is that tight rope that you're gripping onto, trying to pull through for the perspective, right? So I get that only that which you calculate through your mind. So as a business person, it's like, I'm going to plan out my move 10 steps ahead. So I get that this is what you do in life. It's like you have to calculate and really analyze what's going to happen before it happens, and then that's how you make your decisions, and that's how you decide what's going to be best for you or serve your highest good. And so then what I get is, after I see this, I see you then floating on a feather. And so now I get that this feather is your base, and this is what they're hoping for you, is that you can let go and get, and so I'm getting this airy freedom feeling. So in your mental body, in the clairvoyance center in your third eye, to let go of this precognizant like need to understand everything before it happens, and to be free and allow your mental body to receive, which is a really hard thing to do. It takes multiple steps to clear this, but number one would be to just start like thinking about the thoughts that you have, and then to start allowing the thought processes in these lists. So I would assume maybe you're a list maker, right? So maybe you're that person that has like a list for the day, or a list of goals, or a list for your life, right? And so to let go of that and allow life to happen to you. So that's kind of the hope I get from what I'm seeing here. So then we get to your Akashic records, and so the feather lands, and now we're in the grass, and there's all these flowers, which typical of somebody who connects to the fairy realm, your Akashic records are going to be in the grass surrounded by flowers. It's like this kind of castle within the flowers, right? So you move through, you go to the door, and you're now in fairy form again, and you move into the door, and as you open the door, all of these like butterflies and bugs and fairies and everything like nature related is in your records, and they say welcome home. So I know that they're calling to you. I know that they're wanting you to reconnect, and I'm sure you're probably like somebody now who's so left brain that you're like, what is this, fairy realm, like what's this person talking about? But I get, so here I call down your higher self, and your higher self basically tells me that it's time for you to learn to hear the fairies again, and to go with this frequency that you're so connected to. It's basically a part of you, and basically they're saying, and they were telling me, and what I'm getting from your energy is you might be somebody who's really calculated and think, oh, well, I have to go out in nature and see a fairy. That's totally false. Like, you probably will maybe never be somebody who ever sees a fairy, right? You might not have clairvoyance in that sense, but basically this is a part of your energy, and this is a part of your frequency that you tap into easily, and so it's just opening yourself up to receive. And again, this is how I would presume you would receive the energy from this realm, is basically like, it just envision that there's like something that's going to trigger a thought process in your mind. And it's almost like when you're little and you start daydreaming, or you go on those like kind of whimsical journeys in your head. Like, I get that that's how it's going to happen, is that something's going to a word's going to be said, and it's going to just spark this series of mental images that happen for you, and you almost kind of go into this daydream state. And I get that this is how you connect best into this energy and this frequency. And what I got to is that you should go get a deck of Oracle fairy cards, that just that, and making that, like making a purchase for an Oracle deck of fairy cards, and reading some of the messages. Like, if you just pull a card a day, like, in the morning, shuffle the cards and just say, what's for my greatest good to know today, and then play the card, and then read what it says. Like, just that's going to open up your energy to receive more clearly the guidance that you're already connected into. It's not something you have to try for. You just have to open yourself up to receive. And then as you start to make the connections, then you're going to get more of the connections, and then it'll just develop further into whatever your specific unique gift and talent is. So this is something that you were born with. This is something that you connect to. This is a part of you, and if you just give it kind of space, it's going to allow you to open up more into this area. So I hope I didn't freak you out, because I'm sure somebody, I get the feeling that you're left brain. So just the messages would be that your higher self is saying it's time to reconnect. So this is a part of who you were, so it's time to go back and reconnect and open yourself up to this frequency again, to receive those hits of your destiny, your purpose. And I would assume that you probably would be able to help others at some point in time. So with light and love.